All right, Jackson, I want to talk about this rule I made for small business owners that are trying to figure out how to implement AI into their small business. I'm calling it the one task AI rule. And this is actually why trying to automate everything is why AI fails for small businesses when they're trying to get in there. So you hear a lot of mixed, responses to AI. Like you either say, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And it's usually like the tech bros saying, this is going really well. But then you hear the other side of that from people who try to get it to do something and it's just total garbage. Like they tried ChatGPT or Claude one time. They tried to essentially what we're calling a one shot and it just didn't go well. And so I've kind of figured out the commonalities between the people that are trying AI and it's failing and then the people who are actually seeing success with AI. And so I kind of want to go over, I want to go over that thought. Before I go through my more structured, nice list here, I guess I'd like to get any of your thoughts on why people are seeing AI fail for them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know what to expect with AI. So they go into it either thinking it can do everything. So they try to get it to do that. So build me an application that does this. And then when it doesn't work the first time, they're like, oh, garbage. I can't do it. Yeah. Why am I wasting my time with this? Or they just don't use it. They go to the other end of it where they don't trust it to do anything. And then they feel like it's a waste of time.
Yeah. So from our research, most small businesses, especially the owners who are trying to see where this fits, they get burned out or they try the one shot. And then we're actually seeing statistics that 68% of people are using AI, but only 15% actually go into it with a solid strategy. Okay, so the same employer who would hire, say, 8 employees to take over a business unit or something, they would try to actually automate 8 of those jobs at once. So they're saying, AI is going to replace employees. I need 8 employees to handle these new initiatives. They would actually try to go build AI agents to handle those 8 things at once. And you're just destined to fail there.
Yeah, rather than starting on the most important task first and getting that fully automated.
Yeah, even hiring at bulk, you have to prove that you have a repeatable system to even interview people who fit. You have to prove to yourself that you can hire good employees before you can start, building a recruiting team. And the same is true for, automating things with AI or even building just generic software that's more static and less dynamic than AI. And so I've boiled this down to this one task rule. And then I'm gonna talk about how we do that. So I'll talk through each section of this, and then I'll give you space to share some of your thoughts.
Yeah. So what is the one task rule, Dylan?
Yeah. So the one task rule, you pick the single highest toil and the lowest stake task in your business. So imagine going through every process in your business you want to hire for, or that you want to automate. And you give them a 1 out of 10 score of highest toil, how much of a headache is this? And then also give it a 1 to 10 score of how high stake is it. And so you want the ones with the highest toil score and the lowest stake score. So if this was to fail, it would cause some internal conflict or some internal toil, but that's better than ruining a customer's day or something like that. But also it's if we solve this, then we'll have, a 30% bump in revenue. That would be nuts. And so you want to go through, make a list of 10 things on a sheet of paper, give everything a 1 to 10 score on the toil score and then the high stakes score. And then everything that's the lowest stake and everything that's the highest toil, that's kind of the point system you want to use. And then after you've built that list, just pick your highest leverage thing, the thing with the highest toil and the lowest stakes. Just choose that thing and then give that thing a lot of time and automate. And so then you want to delegate, automating that to somebody, or you spend, your 10 office hours or something like that to do that.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be some kind of internal administrative work for most people that just takes a lot of time, but the clients never really see the impact of it.
Yeah, if you've got somebody in your business, how do you choose who to delegate this to? Because you're going to have to choose somebody to take this on. It's you're going to solve this one problem. Maybe it's the person in the problem who feels it and who's the most capable of understanding the specific domain. Or you have to hire somebody in, some kind of freelancer or somebody who understands AI automations, but then you still have to delegate somebody to give that person time so they can understand the problem. So that kind of gets us into this next section, training the model on your business. So whenever you choose this one most important thing, the highest toil, and then the lowest, cost or what's the word I use there?
Stakes.
The lowest stakes. Yeah. Then you want to then make sure you're training that on your business context. This is giving, an employee in your business, like the delegation of either working with the contractor or working with the AI themselves to figure this out. So we've used this analogy before. It's like if you owned a coffee shop and you had AI agents building every order, essentially right now, going into ChatGPT and running a prompt is like hiring a brand new employee for every order of coffee. You need to tell the person where all the supplies are, everything, and then you got to show them how to use the machine. And then, the next customer comes in, you have to start from the top. And so what we have to do with our AI, just like employees, instead of a brand new employee each time, you have to build context, some kind of system into the AI so it can reach into your domain knowledge. And this is something that you point this one employee at or the contractor at to kind of solve. The first problem you have to solve is how do we train the AI on our very specific business context, because that's what's proprietary to your business, to make the AI like higher leverage and actually do something appropriate for you.
Yeah. So for like someone that's not used AI much, would this be like a custom GPT within ChatGPT that they could go in and set their business information in there?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can do this. So the AI, every prompt literally it's like hiring a brand new employee to create every order. There's two things you can do, and AI is better than a human in the sense that it can take a lot of information in, no time. And so there's a couple things you can do. If you want to do this super simply, you get into ChatGPT right now and then tell it all about your business, and then tell it to build like an operating procedure about the one thing that you want to automate and have it interview you. So let's say you were training an AI agent to respond to customer support tickets on your website. That's like the very basic example. So maybe you are an HVAC person and someone comes to your site and they see like, are you having trouble? Talk with our agent now. The agent, every prompt, it's going to be like the knowledge of the whole internet. You have to give that agent some kind of context on everything. Or maybe you have a better example is like you have a receptionist who answers every phone call, and then they have like a huge document of everything you do. When a customer says this, you say this. You essentially want to build out that document, and then that's what you put into every prompt. So instead of your receptionist having to read through this big document, you can have the receptionist, when they answer the call, the customer starts asking questions, upload this document into ChatGPT, and then essentially take their notes into ChatGPT and tell it to, give you ideas on how to respond to it based on what's in that document. So that's like the very simple, like you don't even have to pay for that. You can upload PDFs to ChatGPT for free, and then that PDF has all the instructions. So the first thing you want to do is get into ChatGPT without any documents, tell it what you want to do, and tell it to interview you. Like, what does this person do in this situation? Then you, the business owner, or whoever is doing this, can tell AI how to respond to certain things. And then it will capture all of that, tell it to write a document or a PDF. You download it, and then every follow-up prompt, you upload that document, and each new chat, you upload that document so it knows what it's doing. There are ways to make that easier with a custom GPT. It like streamlines that. You upload the document once and then you reuse it. But that's the very simple version. It's like a new customer called, here's what we're doing with the PDF, and that goes into every prompt from now on.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you're going to go that route, go ahead and pay the $20 a month and get the custom GPT, because it's really nice to just have that set up and ready to go whenever you need that context, because then you can approach it like you would a knowledgeable coworker, where you're not wondering like, does it have the current context or not? You can, know it will have it.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I don't have a good example of when right now. I would like to go in, and we have the GPT meeting transcriber that has like custom prompts you could show. Here, let me share my screen real quick, and we'll go into this. I don't want to get too bogged down, but I feel like it's valuable to show this. So if you're watching, you can have an idea of what we're talking about here. So this is Infacto's GPT. So we have our meeting transcriber. So imagine you have a meeting with a client or somebody, and you want certain takeaways from every type of meeting. You can build a custom GPT, and every new chat I have with this GPT meeting transcriber gets all these instructions. And you have conversation starters. So it's like super click buttons you can click on to get going. So like suggested first prompts essentially. And you can upload upload files. So if you have that operating procedure or documentation, upload that here, and then this custom GPT has access to that.
Yeah, or like a pricing sheet, so it'll always know your current prices for services.
Exactly. Yeah. This is unscripted, so I'm going to go into these. Copywriter, I think this is a good example. Oh, GPT's not found. Interesting. Quiz Builder, this is a good one. In our website manager, we have we have a way you can upload a file to generate a form based on that file. But like, say you have an intake form that has like 20 questions, you need to create that. It'd be very tedious to go in and upload or choose every input type and everything like that to build this form. And so we built so many forms that we built custom instructions, including the data format that the file needs to be in. So here's valid JSON. That's just structured data for the quizzes or the forms. So this is that whole like base prompt there. This is sent to every news chat. So create a quiz for a real estate site, design a quiz to qualify e-commerce leads. These are like suggested first prompts, and you can give it capability. So this is what I'm talking about, custom GPTs. It's like custom skills that you can then chat with, and it knows its role. So it's not just generic. It knows everything about the internet. It's something that's actually helpful to your business and your specific use case.
Yeah, for sure. Highly recommend it if you're gonna try to go that route.
Yeah. So that's on training the model in your business and how to actually do that. The next one, and we got like 5 of these. We're blazing. Section number 3 here, the 80% rule, and actually becoming an editor. So a lot of people, like we said at the beginning of this, just prompt the AI and just have it do everything. Everyone's saying how magical AI is, and they expect magical to mean everything is just done for them, right? But that's actually not the case, because again, AI knows everything about the internet, and you have to narrow it down into a specific thing. You've trained it on your data, but now you need to accept the output and kind of scale what's successful. And so the 80% rule means like, if it's 80% good, if it's giving you, good answers, but you have to kind of adjust the response before you actually send that to somebody, that's success. Like if you're having it turn a podcast episode transcript into a blog post, you're going to have to go in and edit it and accept that you're going to have to make changes to 20% of it. But instead of that taking, 2 hours to write a blog post, it's going to take 15 minutes because you're going to be an editor at that point. So a big shift we have to take from, like, if you need to write a blog post or Facebook post, you have to shift your mindset from, okay, I'm the social media writer, to now I'm a social media editor. And it's just like if you ask somebody else to go write a Facebook post to promote this offer, you'd send the AI that, and then you have to accept the fact that you're gonna have to edit it and change some things or re-prompt it a couple of times to massage it to get it exactly what you want. And then a really important part of this, just like if you were training an employee, if they came back with work and it was 20% done, you would have to tell them what to fix, why to fix it, and then log every correction you had to make so that they don't make that same mistake again. You can do that in custom GPTs. So when you're building the GPT or the custom document you're uploading to every chat, you say like, if it consistently says a word you don't like, or it consistently phrases things a certain way, say, don't say things like this. And you literally either define what those things it's saying are, like don't use a lot of analogies, or don't, go extensive into this and actually put words in there that you don't want it to say and stuff like that. And so logging the corrections and keeping that in the base prompt is very important.
Yeah, you're just like taking the time to check it, and then the things you don't like, you just tell it you don't like it, and then it like incrementally gets better over time to the point where you might end up only editing 10% of it rather than the 20%, and you just keep doing that over and over.
Yeah, just like an employee becomes more valuable the more years they are. That's like why you give merit raises. The same thing with the AI. It gets smarter and smarter. It just does compound a little quicker. Accepting this 80% rule at the start is very important, and it's probably never going to get a full 100%, but you can track essentially these last 3 social media posts I created. I didn't have to add as many corrections. Like that's a valuable metric to keep track of. So the next thing, kind of keeping along the lines of tracking, is this next section is ROI tracking. So tracking the actual return on investment on your time and your investment into like financial investment into these AI tools. There's a crazy stat out there that only 18% of businesses are actually tracking their ROI, which means 82% of businesses who are saying they use AI aren't actually tracking whether or not it's a net positive for them. So it's essentially like we're hearing about all these like web developers, engineers, like business owners who are working more now because they have AI and the opportunity is out there, but they're not actually tracking if the new work that they're completing is actually increasing the opportunities or revenue for their business.
Yeah,
So,
if it's valuable or not. If it's just they're spending more time working but not getting a better outcome.
yeah. So this is why it's valuable to like kind of do like a little brief at the end of every day, like what'd you do, like just for yourself, having a little journal of what I did, and then slowly seeing that turn into, oh, I automated this thing with AI, or I had to answer this customer call. Like you'll start to see the change in what your work is actually doing. And then actually looking at your books to see where you're like, maybe you're spending a lot of time on your employees. Like maybe your employees are tracking what they're doing throughout the day, and you can kind of see what they're doing each day and track, okay, was this a toil-based thing? Was this like a customer called and this customer, has a certain value to the business, and did we have to spend so many man hours that the value to the customer actually decreased? Or did we let this serve more customers because it had AI tools? So tracking what your employees are doing and actually seeing that in the P&L every month is very valuable. So it's as simple as keeping a journal for yourself, having your employees keep journals of what they had to do, what was painful, what worked well, what didn't work well. And that's probably one of the most important pieces of data you can collect, is kind of the employee sentiment on what they did and then where they're actually spending their time helping customers. Ask your partner, like your wife, husband, or whatever, like, how many hours do you think I work at home? Like track your time on the laptop, on the couch, versus now you can be home and present with the kids, like kind of keep track of screen time, I guess you could say. Ideally, you spend a lot of screen time up front automating things, and then eventually that should compound and then be less screen time eventually, because you're doing the stuff that only you can do.
Right. Yeah, if you get to a point where you're spending more time maintaining your automations, maybe that's not a good thing to automate.
Right. And it might mean you need to delegate the automation, or you're trying to automate the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Or you're not accepting the 80% rule that we just spoke about. So I have noticed in myself, I'll automate something and things will be like, 80% done, and I'll go finish it to the 20% to make it the full 100% completion. But then I'm just doing more. So it's like, why don't I accept that I'm doing the same amount of work I was doing before in less time? Or maybe I just increase how much I'm actually getting done by only like 10 to 15%. So I am doing more, but it's actually at a lower cost of my time and attention.
Right.
And so find that balance. Try to force yourself to work within Windows, because constraints are the best driver.
I'm more of a Mac guy myself, but you can use Windows.
Yeah. All right. And then number 5. So like building a solution yourself with AI versus like buying. So when you're talking to yourself through, okay, do I buy a solution or do I just try to build it myself? A lot of people aren't asking the right questions up front. So the framework I follow whenever I'm building or buying a solution to a problem is I start with the actual pain that I feel. I start with the actual toil, and not like what I want. So instead of a classic example here is I want to post on social media more, is like a feature. I need something to automate posting on Facebook from, XYZ other pieces of content. That's like a feature instead of what you're actually trying to solve, which is like, I need to get my name out there more. And so when you have an actual problem with like, we have these technicians out in the field, but we can't keep them busy. We're only at like 50% utilization rate of our employees right now, which is really, really bad. That's probably eating up all your margin. When you start with that as the problem, the AI tools you choose are actually going to be way different than if you started the conversation as, I need to post on Facebook more, because posting on Facebook more might not actually be the thing. It may be like, I have a list of 1,000 customers I've served over the last couple of years. Why don't I try to, because I have this pain, like what can I do quickly? Then you can start to talk into features like, what do I actually do to solve that problem? Facebook's probably not the right solution. Maybe it's reactivating all the contacts you have in your database now, people you've served, and throwing AI at that problem, like, and brainstorming with AI and having it interview you, like what pain are you actually feeling? And then let, the pain you're feeling drive the actual features you're searching for. Kind of, it's like a hammer versus a toolbox. If I need to build a house, you're not looking at, I need to buy a hammer or I need to buy like specific tools. It's like, I need to buy like a kit. I need to buy a toolbox. I need everything to build the house. I shouldn't care that I need a hammer so much, or I shouldn't care that I need, this specific tool. I should care about maybe the people that are running those tools. So that's kind of the build versus buy thing.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Don't just rush to like a product, just actually understand what you're trying to solve, and then you can determine building it yourself or buying the product.
Yeah. So I guess, how do you think through when building something custom versus like just buying an off-the-shelf solution in 2026? It really comes down to, the pain you're feeling and what features you actually need to solve that problem. So I would say custom built makes sense whenever all the off-the-shelf tools are super expensive and they solve a wide array of problems instead of actually solving the pain you have. So if all the tools you're looking at are saying, we'll help you automate the posts on Facebook, that's not quite right as like buying a tool or a service that says, we help you do more outreach to existing customers or something like that. So be more generic, more pain building, or not pain building, but solve the actual pains and the toil of like, we need more customers or we need more revenue. Build a tool that will help you do that whenever all the things you're buying are like super expensive and more generic, or they're more feature based. So actually build something that solves the pain. And I think solving the pain yourself, like building something, makes you understand it a little better, and you're only going to build what you need. But I mean, it's hard to say, like, when would you say you would build a solution? Let's say the Facebook custom poster, like you have blog posts, you have a steady stream of blog posts going to your social media. When would you buy versus build something? I have some thoughts. I want to hear yours first.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it depends on the person's like technical abilities first, because if that seems super overwhelming to try to build your own solution, then probably better just to buy it or hire someone that can do that. No reason to like spend too much of your time working on something that is already solved.
Yeah, like if a monthly subscription costs, an hour of your labor to like value, like if you make $1,000 a week in profit and you work 50 hours, so $1,000 in profit, this is just to make it easy, divided by 50, your value is at $20 an hour, which is low, but we're just making the super easy numbers. If something costs $19 and it would take you 3 hours a month to do that, it doesn't sound a lot, but that's also a no-brainer of like, okay, buy the pre-built tool. But if it's like not solving your problem and there's more opportunity, like it may be worth investing a lot up front for something that will work for the next 2 or 3 years, or even 6 months.
Yeah, for sure. And then
go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like software, it is cheap now to build software. So I'd encourage everyone to try it out and just dive in, because a lot of subscriptions you probably don't need. Also, plug for tomorrow's episode, we're going to be talking about if you're spending too much on your AI and how to manage that. So
nice.
We're going to dive deep into the actual like payments of it.
Yeah, nice. So that's actually very cool. I'm interested to hear that one. So here's like the 30-day plan. This is what, like, if you decide that, okay, I want to give AI a shot, here's what you actually need to do over the next 30 days, the next 4 weeks to make that happen. So the first week is, do it manually, like document what you have to do. So the first week is actually doing the work, if you haven't already. If you're already doing the work that you want to automate, you can skip this first week and you can go into week 2, which is document. So you need to actually build this master prompt, this document that contains everything you have to do. Say it's like a customer service call or something like that. Like you need to actually document as if, okay, we got a new hire. This is what they would need to read and reference in order to do the job right. And then that third week, just spend all your time, whoever's working on this, to actually put this into a custom GPT, iron out all the issues, like test it out, like send prompts to this document of every like edge case you've ever had. Like, oh, this was weird, we should do this. Like iron out that document and actually build out the automation. And then the fourth week is like, don't mess with it, and actually have everybody reporting that's using the AI, reporting what they've spent their time doing. And if they are actually getting more work done, if they're serving more customers, then that's good. And if they're serving less customers and you've just added another expense, you need to go back essentially to week 1 and do it manually and build into that documentation phase. It's like, okay, we need to take another approach to this because what we started working just wasn't working.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. All right. So if you found this useful or you want to dive into these other topics, you can go to infactodigital.com. You can go to infactodigital.com and there's a tab in the navigation menu, and it's called Daily AI News. Like go to that tab and just search on there one of these things. So like there's 7 AI mistakes. There's small business AI adoption. AI adoption doubled, but nobody's measuring it. And AI is a log on a fire. That's like a couple of the blog posts that we're referencing in this. So go into the website, search those. And if you're a small business owner and you want to find that, a contractor to come in and work with one of your employees to automate something, you can go to infactodigital.com, sign up for like a free audit. We'll make sure you're auditing you're automating the correct process, because we've automated some of our own processes. Me and Jackson have been in software for a handful of years now. And so we kind of see what tools businesses are building and using to actually see an ROI. So if you're looking for someone to come and help with that, sign up for a free consultation. We'll help you decide on what to automate. We'll give you more than what we did in this episode. We'll give you like a full outline of what to automate, how to measure it, how to do all of that. And that'll be absolutely for free. You only pay us if you actually want us to come in and automate it for you. But yeah, go do that. And so if you actually found this content valuable, like you're going to go try to automate something today based on what we've talked about, what's the best way that they can thank the show and help themselves out?
Yeah, the best thing someone can do, if you enjoyed this episode, just share it with one other person in your life that you think might find it valuable. That's the best way to help the show spread. Naturally, we don't run ads and push out the show. We just are hoping to provide value and then have people share it with other people that they might find valuable. So thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. And the thing about sharing stuff like this episode is like, it's not like we get the credit. The person who shared the content, shared the knowledge, or the source of something that helps gets the credit. So we like you sharing it. It actually doesn't help us that much, because the person that shared it looks like the good guy, and me and Jackson are just like nothing. But that's okay. We just want to help out. So yeah, send it to one friend, not a competitor though, because you'll be giving your competitors all the advantage. Yeah. All right. See everybody tomorrow.
See ya.
See you.